Hello and welcome to Iron Port, the program dedicated to bringing Ghana's ports and maritime industry closer to you. It is proudly brought to you by Ghana Revenue Authority, Goyle PLC Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Meridian Port Services, and Phoenix Insurance. Iron Port is powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, and our media partner is the Business and Financial Times. Viewers, this week we engaged Apia Kusi Adomako, who is the West African Director for CATS International Accra. He reviewed the year 2023 while prospecting for the year 2024. Here's a summary of what he had to say. Take a listen.
So I just wanted to find out from you whether there are any key pointers that you want to look at as far as 2023 is concerned. So what was on the highlights, of policies that perhaps came in that you thought that impacted one way or the other our economy?
Okay, so the domestic debt exchange and the haircut affected a lot of businesses. Some businesses invested their funds in the medium to long term, and the haircut meant the domestic debt exchange meant that they could not have access to their money when they needed them, and so that can also affect the investments that they need to make in the year. So that is something that we cannot forget about it. And also we saw on the side of AFCFTA, we've seen that a lot of progress have been made. The phase 2 protocols on competition, investment, and intellectual property rights have also been approved. And then government of Ghana also went to Parliament with an import restriction bill, which also received a severe backlash. We are told it has been withdrawn and that they want to bring it back. We'll see how it will portend. And I also want to say again that the Russia-Ukraine war is still having an effect on, currently our import bill of crude oil is still high.
Right.
And if it should go...
And that's as a result of that war?
Yes.
Okay.
If the crude oil prices should go to the pre-crisis level, there will be more dollars available for export.
Right.
And that will reduce, for import, that will reduce pressure on the city.
So that means that there was some element of substance in what government said, that it was as a result of the war in Ukraine and Russia, some of these things happened.
Yes, but to the extent that it is true, it is a general fact. The war in Ukraine has affected a lot of things, but the extent that it has on your economy depends on how you manage your economy. That is one thing. So we can blame the war in Ukraine, but its effect and the extent, that one, how we manage our finances will determine the debt at which we will sink. And also, we can also say that last year saw businesses got a lot of relief from the apocalyptic event that happened in 2022. But last 2 years ago, it was getting bad. Prices level was just moving like what? Like nothing. And now today, at least you are guaranteed that the price you see today is more likely to remain at least the next week. 2022, it was not like that. And the Gaza war is also something that is still... There is the potential of the regionalization of the war. Turkey has sounded an alarm that if Israel doesn't stop the wanton destruction of the Gaza, they may enter the war. Iran is also, so we need to look at that.
Right. Let's come down to the supply chain and see how it fared. Obviously, like you mentioned, Russia, Ukraine, and all that definitely disrupted the supply chain in a way. Would you say that? And how did the supply chain fare globally in 2023? Okay,
so the supply chain last year continued from the point where it left off. The geopolitical conflict, the Russia-Ukraine, the China-US, the China-Taiwan, all these tensions are all affecting the supply chain. China has become the global manufacturing hub. And Southeast Asia is also a very good raw material market. For Africa, there is peace and stability here. So production of raw materials that are supposed to come from Africa are okay. But the supply chain is also related to what? Even the movement of the logistics.
Right.
Towards the end of the last year, we saw the Houthi fire. I mean, the Blacks, the Red Sea, and other side where people were firing missiles into ship. Now most of vessels are now being diverted to pass through the Atlantic Ocean.
Right.
Through against the traditional path of the Suez Canal.
Right.
And all these things is affecting the supply chain, is reducing, it's kind of what, increasing the time that goods arrive for manufacturing. So that is one. Then the inflationary pressures is still affecting the cost of goods have gone up. And that also, for example, if let's say a 40-feet container was $5,000 of material, now you need to pay more to get because of the inflationary pressure.
Yeah.
Then we will say that all this thing is leading to some form of a recessionary environment. Most economists in Ghana or in Europe, well, what's recession? Okay, maybe. Recession is the period of 3 quarterly GDP growth. When it goes down for 3 consecutive months, that is what we define as a recession. And we've seen in Europe and America where these figures are dipping downwards and pointing to what? A recession environment. When there's a recession, like the economic activity kind of slows down, employment goes down. And then we also talk about the issue of climate change. Because of the climate change issue, a lot of restrictions on business as to how much they can produce. Cap on trade, telling, so look, you can't do this. We've seen in Ghana, starting from 1st January, we are paying emission taxes. So all these things are going to increase the cost of our production. So globally, the war in Ukraine, inflationary pressures and recessionary environment, this can be seen as the major threat to supply chain worldwide.
All right, so do we expect to see a similar trend perhaps in 2024?
Yes, this is because the factors that militated against 2023 is still available. Russia has not decided to withdraw from Ukraine. And Israel just, was it Friday or so, Netanyahu said that the Israeli operation will still continue on throughout the year. We don't know how. And if other countries within the region enter the war, it becomes a regional war. That could, America and UK could also come in. That could be, potential escalation. And that could even be worse than what we are facing now. And so what we need to do is to avoid escalation of the war between Israel and Hamas. Now we've seen how the world has become polarized.
Right.
Whether you are for America or you are against America. And Russia would find ways and means to support the other side because they've seen that US and Europe are supporting Ukraine to fight against them. And so they will also support any other sides like the Cold War scenario.
Yeah.
And these things all may portend some challenges for the world economy. And we should embrace ourselves for the difficult days ahead. And Ghana, I don't know our resilience to be able to overcome these shocks.
Yeah.
I mean, it just goes beyond praying to God for a better year. Of course, we all pray to God, but we must also put in the right measures to ensure that we are able to survive every tsunami.
What are your projections for the prospects for, for 2024 is?
Barring any uncertainties.
Yes.
Because in 2019, at the end of the year, we were very hopeful that 2020 will be good. And suddenly, COVID came and then it turned everything upside down.
Right.
But we are very hopeful for 2024. The U.S. Federal Reserve, the Fed, is more likely to cut interest rate. Once it cuts interest rate, one thing is that a lot of countries, business are taking all their dollars to U.S. because of the high interest rate there.
Right.
Once U.S. cuts the interest, U.S. will no longer be a preferred destination for investment. So most of these people who have got dollars would rather want to come to emerging economies like Ghana.
Right.
And so, in 2022, the cedi was stable until the U.S. also decided to start to increase its interest rate.
Right.
So people were removing all their investment from emerging economies, and Ghana was suffering a lot because every day investors were withdrawing their investment from Ghana.
Right.
And whenever they withdraw the investment in cedis, they convert to dollars, so a lot of pressure. This year, we expect the government to reduce the inflation. So most like interest rate.
Yes.
What most likely is that we are going to have a lot of dollars will start coming in into emerging economies, and Ghana could benefit. And that could also lead to the relative stability or strengthening of the cedi against the dollar. That is one. And we also expect some relative stability of the cedi. On Monday, tomorrow, Ghana is meeting its external creditors for external debt exchange.
Yes.
We hope that there will be a very good deal. Once they are able to agree on a good deal for us, we will end up getting the $600 million. But the president said that we hope to get $1.6 million by end of May or so.
So despite a not so positive account of the year 2023, the West Africa Director for Cuts International Accra is hopeful for this year, and we hope you share in his optimism. Now let us hear from you on some of your comments you shared with us after we go on break, and then we'll be back with more news. Stay tuned. I'd like to find out from your guest what he thinks about the electric vehicle policy and the move to phase out cars that run on fossil fuel. My name is Azuma in Takoradi.
I think for the first time, government should be truthful to Ghanaians and let Ghanaians know that, look, this money that we are using, we are going to invest them in research with our academic institutions, so that gradually Ghana can find its place within the EV industry. We have these products, the lithium.
Yes.
And all this research that we do can enhance the lithium to the extent that within the supply chain, Ghana can find itself not only producing the raw materials, but coming to produce the final product, whereby we will not need to import lithium batteries into the country, pay insurance and CIF, and also go and get forest. At least if we can invest in our institutions here, we can turn our raw lithium into the final product. When we do that, there will be no pressure on the city. That is the conversation that we need to see from our leaders.
This is Ken from Asylum Down. I agree with Mr. Adumakon. We have to concentrate on the market approach and gradually phase out import restriction.
Guys, now I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really? Okay, I dey come.
Shut up!
Mame, boss, fill my tank with Super XP Ron 95.
Fill up with Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from Goyle.
Sorry, Tony got here first, so I'm stepping with him.
Oh, cut him. Hey,
Choose Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for Goyle Super XP Ron 95. Goyle, good energy.
Goyle is good energy. Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is, you still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water, or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse, and my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Currently, my goods are on the IC covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance. Oh, Ajima, tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the projects and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302 246 319 or 0243 690 492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
Welcome back. It's now time to move on to our local news segment. The Commissioner of the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Alhaji Seidu Idrisu Idisa, has announced that the Ghana Revenue Authority achieved its revenue target of 109 billion Ghana cedis. He also revealed that despite a year characterized by decreased volumes of imports, the Customs Division of GRA were only short of its revenue target by 1.2 billion.
We all know this year, for those of us in international trade, this year was a very challenging year we had. All the targeted volumes of trade were not met. The volumes of goods that came to Tema was less than what was expected. But I'm so happy you have given some awards to those in charge of enforcement. Because of the enforcement measures we did, we were able to get in Tema here 24.4 billion out of that. And generally speaking, GRA was able to achieve the national target of 109 billion.
The Commissioner of Customs was speaking during an awards parade organized by the management of the Tema Collection of Customs to award hardworking staff for their tremendous efforts in the year 2023. Held at the Authority block at the MPS Terminal 3, the vibrant parade saw permanent and contract, operational and administrative staff of various units of the Tema collection, as well as some exceptional taxpayers, presented citations and gift items. The Sector Commissioner of the Tema Collection of Customs, Christiana Odieje, acknowledged the difficulties in mobilizing revenue for the year 2023. She urged her staff to give off their best in the discharge of their duties in the year 2024 towards national development.
Though this year was very challenging as far as revenue mobilization was concerned, we have made a significant milestone. We have worked very hard sometimes we had to go overboard to stay behind to make sure that we were able to mop up the revenue that we needed so much for the year.
The Tema branch of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, GIFF, has held its Maiden corporate head Soiree and awards night in Tema to reward some individuals and organizations for their immense contribution to the port and shipping industry. Some of the awardees include the General Manager of Marketing and Corporate Affairs at GPHA, Esther Jibidonko, who won the Outstanding Corporate Support Award. Icon of the Year female category went to Christiana Odi Ejei, the Tema Sector Commander of Customs. Emmanuel Gilbert Ohene won the Icon of the Year male category. Special Industry Recognition Awards also went to Abna Sawa Opoku-Fosu, the Marketing and Public Affairs Manager at the Port of Tema, as well as Rosemary Pakarado and Esther Amekuji of the Customs Division of GRA. Industry Professional of the Year went to Dr. Desmond Bugbila, and Supply Chain and Logistics Reform Award went to William Abraham Texan. Technology Partner of the Year Award went to Ghana Link Network Services. Safety Excellence Award went to Meridian Port Services. The Government Relations Achievement Award went to GRA Tema Collection. Optimal Cargo Release Efficiency Award was grabbed by Maersk Ghana Limited, and Upstream Logistics Provider of the Year went to Consolidated Shipping Agencies. Two of the awardees spoke to Iron Port.
This recognition is dedicated to the entire team that assisted in the rollout of the icons and continues to offer support in ensuring that the project continues to work to optimum capacity.
I feel really thankful to God first, and then to the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, because they are our clients. We work together. When they are in business, Customs and GRA is also in business. So we've worked very closely throughout the year. So I believe that they know what both of us have achieved. And I dedicate the award I was given not only to GRA, but to the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders and to all the stakeholders.
Johnny Manti is the chairman of the Tema branch of GIFF.
We have discovered that most of our guys are bending back and over, doing extremely well. Again, we've recognized that there are synergies between our members. Formerly, you would hardly find a member telling another member to help out in a certain business, but now we collaborate and we work. We've also recognized that most of our members are doing serious business, going around the world to bring business into town. This award is just a testament of what members have already been doing over the years and do not get any recognition for it.
Worldwide, maritime trade and cargoes are increasingly being targeted by organized criminal conspiracies and individuals involved in smuggling, cargo theft, and terrorism. This has made the safety and security of port property and workers even more crucial. This is why the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority invests yearly in its security, which includes an able workforce. This year, 149 personnel recruited by the Port Authority in Tema have successfully passed out after 6 weeks of intense and rigorous training at the 1st Battalion of Infantry at Michel Camp. This is the first time GPHA has entered a partnership with this particular military camp for the training of security staff. The new recruits underwent endurance and strength training, swimming courses, access control and searches, checkpoint duties, and report writing, among others, in a bid to transform them into disciplined, physically fit, mentally alert, and competent members of the security department of the port. During the passing out ceremony, the director of the Port of Tema, Sandra Opoku, handed awards to outstanding performers among the new recruits. She indicated that so far as maritime threats exist, security will remain an essential part of port operations.
After today's graduation ceremony, you'll be assigned to serve the port in different roles. You must serve with honor, dignity, courage, and integrity, and show allegiance to what is right and conform to the authority's code of conduct. If you live by this commitment, you will have a great future in GPHA.
Similarly, in Takoradi, 115 security personnel recruited by the Port Authority have graduated 6 weeks of intense training at the Western Naval Command. The recruits undertook voice procedure, drills, port security, map reading, swimming, unarmed combat, leadership, first aid, firefighting tactics, rules of engagement, guard duties, weapon training, intelligence gathering, and physical fitness. This makes it the third batch of port security personnel to be trained at the naval base in Sekondi. The director of Port Takoradi, Peter Mobediakon, had this to say about the successful training of recruits during the pass-out ceremony.
My dear recruits, the purpose and relevance of your training that you have undergone here cannot be overemphasized. We brought you here to be trained to give you a taste of the standard military ways of comporting, carrying yourself well with confidence and integrity in the performance of your role as a port security staff.
Flag officer commanding at the Western Naval Command, Commodore Emmanuel Ayensu Kwafo, expressed his outfit's pleasure to help train personnel towards securing the premier port of Ghana. Let us now turn our attention to the global stage and pick a few international shipping and maritime related news.
As one of the most heavily traveled waterways in the world sank deeper into the depth of violence and lawlessness, a wave of attacks carried out by the Yemen's Houthis on oil tankers and other commercial vessels in the Red Sea rose to 24 over the past few weeks. After the Red Sea crisis struck, oil prices were on the rise, sparked by fear and supply disruptions due to concerns that a wider conflict could break out across the Middle East. However, oil prices have now settled down as no supply disruptions were recorded, sparking hope that none would occur in the future. Is this just a calm before the storm, or will prices remain stable without further strikes? The government of the United States, Australia, Bahrain, Belgium, Canada, Denmark, Germany, Italy, Japan, Netherlands, New Zealand, Singapore, and the United Kingdom have issued a joint statement warning the Houthis against further attacks in the Red Sea. The statement was issued on the heels of the largest use of anti-ship ballistic missiles against commercial vessels, threatening the freedom of navigation. According to the U.S. Central Command, on January 2nd, Houthi forces fired 2 anti-ship ballistic missiles from Houthi-controlled area in Yemen into the southern Red Sea.
It's now time for our Word of the Day segment, where we introduce words, phrases, jargons, and terminologies that we often use in this industry so you can get familiar with them. Today's phrase of the day is the consolidation point.
The consolidation point, a place where cargo is engrouped for delivery.
Let us now take a look at the schedule of vessels that have berthed in the ports of Tema and Takoradi and at the anchorages of both ports, as well as those expected in the coming weeks, plus the Bank of Ghana exchange rates, which you may need to know to clear your cargo with. This brings us to the close of today's edition of Iron Pot. We hope you've been informed and educated. Remember, all Iron Pot content can be found on our YouTube channel, Iron Pot. Subscribe, like, and give us feedback. Thank you for watching.